So right away from school, when I got in from first grade, going through 12th grade, I learned that I was a lot different than everybody else. The way I was learning wasn't the same the way um, I would have to do homework. I felt like I was putting more time than everybody else in. The way the teachers I felt related to me a little bit was different. And that was a real struggle in my life. I felt like I wasn't given the opportunity or the tools I needed to succeed where the other kids were. I felt like there was something different about me, but I didn't know what it was. I went through grammar school struggling, getting behind, more behind every single day, staying up late at night doing homework, whether it was till 2 in the morning, and then coming in the next day and having to do the same thing all over again, that same uphill battle. And then I got into junior high where things got more advanced, obviously, and I struggled again hard, and eventually you get to the point where I felt like quitting. I wanted to be done with everything. I wanted to, many people want to drop out with school. I came to the point where you think about it and you really want to find an answer, but you don't know where to look, especially as a kid. And so when I got into high school, my first year, nothing had changed. I mean, I felt like I was still having the same struggles as everybody else, and the teachers weren't helping me any better. My parents were still having to stay up late every night, junior high, high school, and help me out with whether it was homework or it was studying. I was having to wake up now early in the morning and then go to bed really late in the early morning to just get my stuff done for the next day. And it's a continual process every day of the week. In my homework, I had times where I'd go home every single day and I would work on it, and it feels like you're so lost in what you're trying to do. So you're putting in hours and hours of work where, for me, it wasn't like I was like every other kid where I could go home and I could do my homework, then get to relax, whether it's play some of your favorite games or do the things that you like to do, whether it's watch a movie. I was literally going home doing homework and then staying up late into the night doing homework, waking up early to study, or doing homework on the way to school. So it was a constant struggle because I was always having to do more and more and more, and I was never able to just relax like everybody else. I was always putting my effort into whether it was just continuing to get it done, even though if I didn't understand it, or just trying to study so I could maybe succeed the next day in school. But every night was a struggle. Every time I had a piece of homework that I thought would be easy, it turned out to be an hour project. It turned out to be an all-night project. And that frustrated not only me but my parents, because when you're young, you have to get the work done, but your parents they're in charge of you and they're trying to, get you through. So it was frustrating for the whole family because not only have you been working on homework all day, you've been at school all day, then you've been working on homework throughout the day into the night, and then it's 2 in the morning and you haven't got your homework done and you still have to study, you still have school the next day to get prepared for. So it was a really tough situation. Well, going through school, my parents had obviously noticed that there was a struggle with me and that I wasn't like everybody else. So they were debating on things, whether, going to a special learning center, going to special ed classes. And then finally one day we found out about the word dyslexia and that there happened to be testing for it. And my mom kind of asked me, hey, would you be interested in taking a dyslexia test? Because obviously I knew I had a learning disability, they knew I had a learning disability, so it wasn't a hidden thing. And I was like, I don't want to take it. But in my mind, I thought I knew that I wasn't dyslexic. So in spite of her, I said, I'll take that test. And so I literally sat down with the instructor that was handing out the test, and it was about an hour and a half, and I walked out of there thinking I aced that thing. I was like, there's no possible way that I could have dyslexia. And the next day, which was a shock to me, is my parents came home and they just met with the teacher, and they came home and told me that I had a moderate case of dyslexia. And for me, I wasn't ready for that. I know a lot of people that have had problems and that were able to pass it, but for me, I was looking at all my friends and I was seeing all the things they were able to do, and I looked at myself as I was fine in sports, I was fine and when I went out with my friends and when I had a good time, but in school we were night and day difference, and so I was done. At that point, I just didn't want to keep going on. I started taking the dyslexia tutoring, and I realized that in my schoolwork, that there was a big change happening. It was little by little, but over time it kept building and building and building, and that the things that were tripping me up over the past weren't as big of problems now because of what I had been learning. And eventually through that, I had a joy in it where I began to really enjoy going to school because I finally learned to learn the way I learn. And that was a big thing for me. And when you do that, I feel like you can move anywhere in life. I mean, I could literally catch up in my schoolwork from where I was behind, and I could excel when I was going home for homework. It wasn't an all-night thing. I was able to whether enjoy sports a little bit more, hang out with my friends, but in that journey of getting tutored, I found a joy in it because I was understanding the way I was meant to. My parents played a big role, obviously, in my education because they were always there for me, trying to help me out. And when they saw that the dyslexia tutoring was helping me, it was an instant sigh of relief in their mind because they'd been spending all that work with me, and finally to see something where I'm enjoying it and that I'm improving it, and that something that is helping me throughout every area of life, just opening up. It was a big sigh of relief in their mind, and it made them impressed with me, especially in reading. I mean, when I started out reading, for a high schooler, when I found out I had dyslexia, I was in like middle school work as far as reading. And in that 1 year, I improved, so I was not only where I was supposed to be, but a year ahead in the reading category. So in their mind, I mean, they were giving me compliments. They were excited. They were making me happy about what I was doing, and it was great for what my parents had to go through to see that outcome. So dyslexia is more of a strength in my book. It's more of something that if you have it, you can use it for a betterment of whatever you're going to be good at. And I think of it as more of the gift than the disability. And I didn't realize that at first when I started going through it because of the resentment I had for it, because of obviously feeling I was different than everybody else. But when I realized what had happened through that transformation of what I had learned, I realized that I'm gifted in certain areas that other people aren't gifted at. And I realized that I have incredible skills that some people they would love to have, and that right there is a gift. And I'm not saying, obviously, that I'm going to be some millionaire or that I'm going to be able to be the next president of the United States, because I mean, it's a struggle just to use the gifts you have and find where to use them. But you feel like you have a gift and you can use it, and that's the great thing about a dyslexic person is they have special talents and abilities that they can use that normal people don't have because of the way their brain works. And the fact that they have the opportunity to use them is an awesome thing. And for me, I treat it as like it's a gift from God. I treat it like, hey, God wants you to be used in this area a little bit more, so he's giving you a special gift for it. One of the things I'm most passionate about is what I had to deal with in my own life, and that was a lot of resentment, a lot of hatred towards school, a lot of feelings of, I wish I would have known earlier. And that's always bit me to this day. I still think about it whenever I do anything, whether I'm spending time with children that have disabilities, whether I'm spending time with kids that have normal things or normal abilities. I feel like if kids learn earlier, that they're not going to have to face a lot of battles I faced as far as the way they think of themselves, the way of other people think of them, the way the teachers relate to them. I feel strongly that people with dyslexia just need a chance. They just need that light. And once they find it, they're going to get there. They're going to make it to the end of that tunnel. And for me, I've had a lot of good teachers, and I've had a lot of teachers that I felt like weren't helping me near as much as they should. But, you know, when a teacher comes by you side by side and they realize they can help you, not only did I feel like I was able to do more, but I felt like the teacher had a joy in it, that it kind of revived them a little bit, because there's a lot of stress in teachers because they deal with so many kids. But when they make a difference in a kid's life, that's huge. And you can't tell me that that's not a big thing in their life. They're going to feel that. And it's going to bring them a happiness for what they do. And not only are they going to be able to make the difference, they're going to help the kids succeed in life, which is huge.